That breaking news, political activist and conservative media personality Charlie Kirk shot and killed while speaking at an event in Utah Valley University this afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. Kirk was a right-wing activist and founder of Turning Point USA, which is a nonprofit advocating for conservative politics on school campuses. He was on tour for the organization at the time the shooter fired from a building more than 500 feet away. Now, this event was being hosted at Utah Valley University. That's about 40 miles south of Salt Lake City.
And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children.
The governor of Utah described Kirk's killing as a political assassination. President Trump announced the death of Charlie Kirk on social media this afternoon, and within 1 hour, the White House lowered its flags to half staff. President Trump also issued a proclamation ordering flags to be lowered at all federal buildings, both here and abroad, until sunset on Sunday.
NBC4's Kona Nolan has been following the shooting since the news broke. In Kona, we know there's a person of interest in custody.
That's right. But I have to say that news conference was a little odd.
Confusing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I've never seen a news conference where everybody doesn't seem to be on the same page. But yes, either a suspect's in custody or a person of interest is being talked to in any case. Keep in mind that Charlie Kirk was arguably the most important and popular voice amongst young conservatives in the nation. He had a major following on social media, and his events on college campuses frequently were packed. In fact, Charlie Kirk said he enjoyed most was engaging in debate with liberal college students and Democrats, which is exactly what he was doing when he was gunned down.
The event was similar to those he has held on college campuses around the nation, including recently at USC and UC Riverside. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old conservative activist, author, and popular podcaster, had been answering a question from a student, part of a crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University just north of Provo, when there was weapons fire.
He was actually just talking about mass shootings, too, which is crazy. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop.
Shots have been fired. There's gunshots. Run, run, run.
Students began fleeing the outdoor amphitheater. Kirk had been shot in the neck.
We saw him fall backward, blood shooting out of his neck, hit the floor, and we just had to bolt it out of there.
There was blood all over his shoulder and on his left shoulder, and that is pretty devastating.
The shooter apparently escaped and is still at large, according to police. Kirk was rushed to the hospital, where he was listed in critical condition initially, President Donald Trump posting later that he was dead.
I'm still shaking, and I'm still crying. I love Charlie Kirk. He's awesome.
Charlie Kirk was the CEO and co-founder of the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA. His calling card to visit college campuses and engage with students in what often became contentious debates on politics and social issues. Frequently, student petitions are filed to keep him off campus, as was the case at Utah Valley. The university administration approved today's event, saying Kirk had a First Amendment right to engage students. Among his fans, the 13-year-old son of Governor Gavin Newsom, who this year had Kirk on his own podcast.
If there's no opposition, there's no activist spark.
The governor on X today. The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Kirk had become wildly popular among young men in particular. His Get Out the Vote effort in key battleground states, such as Michigan, cited for helping his ally Donald Trump win the 2024 election. The president on his social media post this afternoon saying that no one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States better than Charlie. He was loved and admired, and now he is no longer with us.
Once again, officials held a news conference a little while ago where they believe that this was a lone gunman, that he fired perhaps from a rooftop as much as 200 yards away, and they do have a person in custody who they're talking to.
Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. and we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law.
And therein lies part of the concern that at one point they said we have the person in custody, and the other person, and then you just heard he says we're going to find you. So we're not sure.
Conan, we see politicians stand up at rallies, they press the flesh all the time. Is this likely to change what happens, what we see going forward, do you think? I mean, you had President Trump, the assassination attempt last year. You had the politicians in Minnesota.
What I think you'll see is what we see with President Trump, which he is a bulletproof glass that he speaks through now at open rallies, right in front of the podium. That's about as best as you can do. I mean, there's magnetometers and there's security that you have when someone of consequence, such as the president, shows up in an outdoor event. But for a guy like Charlie Kirk, I mean, he was open out there. In fact, my old intern, Jacob Wheeler, sent me a text. He's in Washington. He went to the rally at USC.
Yeah.
And it was at a large rally, and he even said back then, gosh, there's no security here. And Charlie Kirk is no longer just the guy from 10 years ago who started Turning Point and got involved in politics. He became a political figure. He became a lightning rod for Democrats and Republicans. And Jacob was even saying, maybe there'd be a little security for him. Mm-hmm. This, I think, is an example of what that concern was all about.
Typically, and we heard it during our special report, from both sides of the aisle, thoughts and prayers. Something needs to be done. What do you expect moving forward?
I don't think anything is going to happen here, but there is going to be a call to ratchet down the political rhetoric. Once again, you can disagree.
There's been a call every single time these incidents have happened.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. You're right. We do. There's got to be some element to bring people back to the point where you can disagree and understand that the person you're disagreeing with is a fellow American. It's a competition of ideas, and the other person may be wrong in your view on the policy, but they're not evil. And that's what we start to see when people are dehumanized for what they believe, and that's got to stop.
But you've covered politics for decades here. Can we put the genie back in the bottle at this point?
It's tough. I remember going to Washington and visiting a Republican congressman because he invited me to a social gathering he was having, and most of the people at his gathering were Democrats. Yeah. And they all got along really, really well. And I'm told now by that same former congressman now that never happens. You can't happen. In fact, there's an engagement. If you sit next to a member of the other party and you start talking to them and having a good time, you could be admonished for that. So it's got to start from the top. It's got to start from the political leaders. They've got to get involved first and get the message home on Fox, MS, wherever, that this has got to stop.
What's the phrase? Agree to disagree?
Right. Yes. And you're the loyal opposition. Oh, by the way, the president should do that too. All right. The president has to understand that the system that we have is designed for people to disagree. Right. We're supposed to disagree. That's part of the process. And so we have to understand you're being patriotic when you disagree, but you can't make these things personal.
Once again, it's such a tragedy today. He was only 31 years old.
Very depressing.
All right, we have a lot more on this. Stay with NBC4 News for continuing coverage on the death of Charlie Kirk, the murder. Coming up here at 4:30, we'll take a deeper look into